Speed, performance, being the best, that's what S&S is all about. With S&S Cycle's history of racing and high performance, the T143 was just a natural.
In 2003, S&S released the Tribute 145 engine, but the focus back then was on custom bikes with aftermarket frames. So the fact that the 145 was over an inch taller than a stock engine wasn't a problem. Now it's all about souping up an existing Harley-Davidson, so it's got to fit in a stock frame.
Make no mistake, the T143 is something that a small percentage of our customers will actually buy. But producing a monster like this shows everyone the level of technology we apply to all of our products, and it allowed us to push what we learned down to the rest of our product line.
An off-the-shelf 143 cubic inch engine with over 160 horsepower that bolts into a stock frame, what's not to love?
This is the biggest, nastiest, most powerful high-performance production engine available for a Harley-Davidson chassis.
This level of performance is the ultimate for a naturally aspirated bolt-in engine. This engine isn't for the Sunday afternoon cruiser.
Unless you're cruising down the drag strip.
The T143 appeals to the same kind of guy who ran big block V8s and 60s muscle cars.
About 5 years ago, I decided to build an engine like this as a personal goal. I had a running prototype in my bike by the spring of 2012.
We've always published pretty conservative dyno numbers at S&S. And this one we've received dyno charts from our customers who are making 10 more horsepower, maybe a little more than we're claiming. They're not complaining, and neither are we.
This isn't really a street motor, so we tested it on the dyno with mileage accumulation and over 1,300 consecutive full power runs.
We didn't break the engine, we broke the dyno a couple of times. Making an engine this big and this short was a lot tougher than we thought.
We had to develop a shorter cylinder head that flows enough to feed this big motor.
We had to develop a lot of new parts to make an engine this big fit in a stock chassis.
About the only parts we didn't have to redesign were the crankcase and flywheels, and even those got tweaked.
If it weren't for the extreme strength of our three-piece flywheel assembly, we couldn't make this kind of power and keep the motor together.
We had to balance the effects of changing the dimensions of all the components involved. We ended up with the T143. It fits in a stock frame, makes tons of power, and our testing shows that it's really pretty durable and it's going to last a lot longer than anyone expected.